What a disappointing story. Poor Tessa Blanchard. I don't know what she was thinking. And I understand that the coronavirus, the pandemic, really affected a lot of people when it comes to trying to get any kind of wrestling going on, and for people to have, caution and safety throughout all of this. And so everything was going fine. January, we saw Tessa Blanchard win the Impact World title. And, she was on a roll. She was doing very well with herself at really the pinnacle of her career. And for whatever reason, whether it's just some professional, a lack of professionalism or an attitude or whatever this might be, for whatever reason, it doesn't look good to see her being stripped of the world title and being fired. And her contract was actually coming up because she had signed for a couple of years. And Impact Wrestling, to their credit, really built up her career so well and did so well for her to put her in such a great spot. I mean, I don't know what other promotion that would have offered the opportunity to let her become the world champion of the promotion, a title that can be held by a man or woman. But I don't know what that's going to be. What holds for the future for Tessa Blanchard, it's not going to be a promotion in any way, shape, or form, I think, in any major wrestling promotion that's on television. I don't see that. I don't see anybody right now. The only people I could think that could even consider, when I thought about it, I was thinking maybe Ring of Honor, maybe NWA, and that's it. Because they would, even though they might get the brunt of a lot of issues behind it, that they would be able to go ahead and say, you know what, here we are, and now I have a chance to go ahead and become somebody really important and come out of it. Because Tessa Blanchard will be a great benefit, regardless of the bad press, if she goes to another promotion, if that promotion needs her more than she needs them. But at this point, she needs whoever she can get right now. She could probably go back out on the indies and work once this is all done. But at the moment, it doesn't matter what there is. Now, I don't know if she was getting paid or not either, if she was being still paid under contract. I don't know what that was the case either. But still, she held the belt. She had a spot. And prior to all this, before the pandemic hit, as far as I'm concerned, I guess she was in good standing. And they had the belt on her. And it looks like they were going to probably hold the belt on her for a while. There was no reason why they weren't going to. But Tessa Blanchard has been on television. Their champion has not been on television. It's not a Brock Lesnar scenario. So here we are. And now, for whatever reason, she's gone. Pro Wrestling Sheet was the first place I saw it. So they mentioned that Impact Wrestling confirms it's terminated its relationship with Tessa Blanchard, stripping her of the world title. Now, what happened was she's currently living in Mexico. They reportedly did not send in promo footage for a recent episode of Impact, which was a red flag. Now, we know there were other issues that went on with her last year that came to light last year, which came up in 2017 in Japan when a wrestler named the Black Rose was called the N-word allegedly by Tessa Blanchard. Well, as far as I know, she's denied the allegations, saying she's never used that racial slur or any racial slur of any kind in her life. But then other people are trying to say that there's a lot of issues with Tessa Blanchard when it comes to her behavior. And in this time of speaking out, hashtag speaking out, there's no surprise that even if this wasn't going to happen, I wouldn't be surprised if people decided to go ahead and try to cancel out Tessa Blanchard once again. But here she is. And, I mean, it just is a case of that she hasn't played as nice as she could have been. I guess that's one thing where, for how good she is and for how hard she's worked to the equal of any man in the professional wrestling ring, which there were quite a few people that gave the credit to her, saying that she was stepping up. And every time I saw her in a match with a man, like say what her matches with Sami Callihan were great. And I thought she did very well for what it was worth. If she would have got a chance to fight between Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards, well, that would have been a different story. But that didn't happen. And now, here we are. She put this on herself And now she's in a tough spot because now she's going to have to deal with the fact that she's not going to get to go ahead and wrestle and hold on to that belt. And I don't know anybody that's going to go ahead and let her come back in, start her back over. But she's had to start back from square one. So I don't know what she does from here. And the pandemic is not a good situation for anyone right now. But it's too bad for Tessa Blanchard to have gone where she is now, only for the fact that she is now out of work, and she'll be a world champion. She'll have that in her credit. But she's, what? Did I read this right? She's 24 years old? Yeah. She's supposed to have a lot of time left in her career. Now, as a women's wrestler, we know that many women, they don't usually decide to go ahead and stay into the business well into their 30s. You know, right now we see Becky Lynch just decided to go ahead and she wanted to have a baby. So now 33 years old, she's doing that. When Trish Stratus left, when Lita left, when others. There are just some women that are here for a bunch of years. But then again, when it comes to women in their careers, in some cases, some of the women, I would imagine, they want to start a family. They want to be able to go and say, you know what, it's my time. I want to have a family. And then maybe they'll come back for the career. But very career driven. There are only so many women. I mean, you can see CEOs of companies where career driven goes on and continues. And then a woman might not want to have a family. But to not appreciate or get to enjoy motherhood, well, Tessa Blanchard had time before that. She didn't have to be thinking about that right now. And one of the other things that's going to be tough is her, I guess his husband or boyfriend, I forget, Daga, is still working in Impact Wrestling. And as far as I know, he's still under contract. So there's that. Now, Tessa Blanchard could also, I think she could also work herself in Mexico. And I think she has worked in Mexico, and I can see her also working in Japan. But I don't know where she would work in Japan. So probably the best bet would be for her is to work in Mexico. Or to find herself working, like I said, maybe a couple of the promotions and television that might be looking for some talent. And even if there is some baggage that comes behind it, whatever that baggage might be, I'm not here to go ahead and prognosticate what that might be or know that I would know what it would be. Like, I get it. But I think Tessa Blanchard could go to a Ring of Honor because they're in dire need of help. And they have a prominent women's division they're trying to build up. That's not necessarily a big thing, but maybe something can happen where Tessa Blanchard might get brought on board and really help to elevate the division. Who knows? They might even try to pull the same thing when it comes to having her go against the men. They could try that gimmick here and start it all over again. You could do that. Maybe there's a storyline you could play with that. But at this point, who's going to take her? Who's going to bring her on board? She's going to look like hard to work with. And if other wrestlers that have worked with her are in the locker room and she happens to show up, what is that going to say? How are they going to react? Will they perceive her as a cancer in the locker room? Well, at this point, it looks like it might be. Anyway, you know, I do the Wrestling Is Real podcast. It comes up every Thursday morning at WrestlingIsReal.com. And also I put it up here on the YouTube channel.